Music controller.
Music controller.
That's
all
better.
Right. Say hello, Mike San.
Hello, Mike San.
How are you doing? All's good? Yeah. Had a good trip to Japan recently. We've got the Rasta guys here as well. So we've got young Anthony probation. He's on probation from prison. I mean, as a job, as a judge. So we got Anthony there, and Corn Soup, Stephen, and then our Welsh. We have to have somebody from a third world country in to represent all the foreigners. Yeah, we got Ian Jenkins. So we're going to look at a few fish today, Mike. Some of the fish that you've brought recently from Japan, that you've had in now for a while, and then also some fish in your main pond. I know this is old hat, but for those who, there's a lot of new guys in the hobby, so for those who don't know anything about this pond or much about you in that way, could you give us a little overview about yourself and this pond that you built 6-7 years ago?
I think 7 years ago, 2011, September time this was.
Yeah.
I think if anyone needs to know anything, they just need to look at the old Rasta videos, don't they?
Yes, but it's good to have the new stuff.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of 5 ponds we've got here, and this is where the more highly regarded specimens reside. Right now, obviously, there's all new stuff in quarantine, and there's a lot of special stuff there. But once fish are through quarantine, really the sort of special ones are generally picked out and put in here, but not in every case. I mean, there's another pond next door, 4,100 gallons, and there's really good fish in there, but it depends on the fish, the size of the fish, how much body the fish has got, and they'll go into whichever pond I decide to put them in, sort of on those criteria, really. But
so that's what you mean by special, because to me every koi at Yume Koi that's made the Yume Koi grade is special in its own way, but you're talking about extra special and in that way?
Not everything is special, obviously. I mean, I think whilst the focus is on getting hold of special fish, it's also the case that I do need to cater for people that are, let's say, dipping their toe into the water as far as coming down to Yume Koi is concerned. So there are fish that need to be affordable for people that, like I say, want to kind of step into that arena, if you like. So what I try and do with those cheaper fish is to get fish that don't actually compromise in terms of technical points, but predominantly would compromise in terms of pattern.
Yes.
So something that someone could get a good result with, have an awful lot of satisfaction from, raise really big and to be a really good fish, and yet without the price tag that's normally associated with it. But I think fortunately, I think in some of those cases, some of these cheaper fish, I think with a little bit of sort of artistic vision, if you like.
Oh, you don't like that word?
Well, I mean, you could buy a fish that as a small fish doesn't really look that good, might look a bit too quirky or too much kind of love it or hate it sort of style, and yet those kind of fish quite often, if you're choosing carefully, you can get something that as a jumbo fish actually, you know, would look fantastic.
Yes.
And yet most people would disregard it as a small fish and just think, no, it's no good, the pattern's no good.
Yeah. And I have been there myself. When I first started coming here 10 years ago, a little bit more now, that was a level of fish that I was purchasing. And doing well at koi shows, people might have overlooked them, and but they've actually fish that turn out, because you still keep the skin, the body. It's mainly down to the pattern style, would you say? So?
I think so, but I think the biggest problem, I think, with the koi hobby, or I think people that are newish into the hobby, a lot of people are influenced by the background of what they do as a profession.
Yes.
So I think if you've got somebody that's into, someone who is, let's say, an artist, they'll like all different kinds of patterns, they'll appreciate things in different ways, and then they'll perhaps have a lot of vision for how something might look when it gets big. Whereas somebody else that's into some kind of, I don't know, shirt and tie job or architectural job, that kind of thing, they might look at stuff and they'll want like just a 3-step, but it's like the 3 steps have to be a long step, a slightly shorter step and a shorter step again, and a certain amount of wrap and perfect symmetry. And that, to my mind, is not really having vision. You're just kind of looking for something that's textbook, something that cannot fail to be good in terms of pattern, but also what you see as a young fish is what you've got as a big fish. Whereas I think some fish you might get something, like I say, quite quirky but balanced in its own right, But as a small fish, you might look at it and think, oh, I don't know, when that
Yeah.
gets big, it won't have enough pattern here or there or whatever. But in actual fact, those kind of fish, once they do get big,
They look,
they look completely different.
Well, in fact, last year when I was in Japan, I bought a fish. I don't know if you remember, for Matsue. He put a few in a bowl, in a thing, and they were all budget fish.
That's
class.
right.
But that same fish now at Sunside is now 72 cm,
Yeah.
and it looks stunning. I mean, Stephen and Auntie, I'll talk to them in a bit. They were there yesterday, and that's the first fish they look at. Whereas we'd have dismissed it because it didn't. But now it's looking wicked for the money and for the type of fish it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of people, if you can look beyond the pattern and you can really have some imagination, I forgot how you called it, but
Well, like I say, kind of artistic flair.
Yeah.
But I think
then you could get a lot of koi.
I think so. But I think the trouble is, I think most people look at a fish when it's small, and let's say they look at a tail tube that's a bit on the lonely side, or a pattern that doesn't wrap very deeply on the fish, and they'll think, oh, you know, when that gets big, it won't have enough pattern, it's going to be too much white, and they'll disregard it.
Yeah.
And they'll, instead of that, favour something that maybe has got quite a heavy bland pattern. When you've got quite a heavy bland pattern that wraps quite deep, some people call it a big fish pattern. In reality, a big fish pattern is not really a big fish pattern, it's actually just a poor pattern. That when it's big, it's still going to look bland and boring.
Right.
Whereas another fish that I might regard as being a big fish pattern is something that when it grows up, it actually does look totally different and really kind of dynamic. It kind of comes into its own as a big fish.
Okay.
And that, I think, is a big fish pattern is that one that you would disregard when it's small because you just think it's not good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I say, when you've got something really heavy, it wraps really deeply, it's got really tight gaps on the pattern, it runs to the base of the tail, that kind of thing, and there's no undulation along the flanks of the fish, that kind of thing. You might look at that and say, oh, that's a big fish pattern. But to my mind, like I say, it's just a poor pattern that's still going to be poor when the fish is big.
Okay.
So it's...
All right. So we're going to look at a few here. Young Anta's going to help us, and I'm just going to pick Stephen's brain while we fill up the bowl. So he's going to...
I thought you were filling the bowl up.
Get himself ready. I can't film and do the bowl at the same time. We are interested in your hair though, because we're
interested in your
there's
hat.
a little
That's
bit of a patch there that we want to see.
Don't worry, I'll get it sorted next week.
It looks quite interesting. So while we do that, Stephen, we were talking yesterday at my pond about choosing fish, and you and I were talking, and you had mentioned that often there's so much expensive fish. I don't know if you remember. Sometimes the lesser expensive fish end up a year later outshining. Do you remember that? We were...
Yeah, I think for us it's just sort of come down to our experience, sort of like over the years we've shown, you know, the expensive fish in our mind is not maybe always the best fish a couple of years down the line, you know. Obviously in a breeder's eyes, when they look at a fish, they've got, you know, they're looking at maybe possible potential sort of like parent koi down the line, whereas maybe we're not looking at it in that way. So if a fish is in it, two fish in the bowl and one's really expensive and one's not so expensive, it doesn't mean that, you know, we've got to have that one. Quite often it's the less expensive one that we quite like, you know, whether it's for different attributes, whether it's the pattern, the shape, the body, the size, the skin, and that's the way we go, you know.
And you guys just recently came back from Japan, I say recently, about a month ago now? 6 weeks?
Yeah, seems like ages ago now.
Yeah. So how was your trip?
Oh, it was fantastic, we love Japan, yeah. It's just...
And I know you pick up the language a bit, so you speak a little bit Japanese. Geordie Japanese.
Yeah, trying, dead frustrating, but we're trying, you know, getting there, like, but it's a long way off yet, like, you know, but no, we love Japan, and you know, I was just saying to Ian there, you know, if somebody's thinking about going to Japan, you need to go. You can at least say, well, I've been, or you'll get the bug like this one to go every year, you know. So, but if you're thinking about going to Japan, I would definitely go. It's a great experience, you know.
Cool. So, Mr. Singh, what are we going to look at?
For the viewers' benefit, if any problems you have difficulties with this video, you can push Control S on your keyboard to turn on subtitles.
Is that for you or for Stephen?
Not for me.
Okay, so we're gonna. What do you mean you two? We got a what?
We need some keywords at the bottom. We need to do simple words like thing and ting.
Ting and ting.
So some translations like that for the viewers.
If you don't hear from Mike next year, it's because I've drowned him in here. Anyway, so we're gonna go look at a few of these fish. Tell us what breeder you are going to bold, which fish?
Well, the first one will be from a koi breeder.
Yes, that's a good start as opposed to a.
Happy with that.
There you go.
We've got two choices here: Kahaka or Mukashi Odon.
Yeah, but there's also a third choice that I've never seen before in a Yume pond.
No.
And I think all the
that will be in the post editing. That will be taken out.
I think we've got some ammunition
We don't
to
do
go
goldfish.
shoot that way. So.
But if Yume koi did do goldfish, they'd look
This
like
is
this.
this is a Matsue. Recently, if you follow Mike on Facebook, you might have seen a write-up on this exact koi that we're going to look at.
Or one that looks somewhat like it.
The one that looks like it. Is this not the one then?
That's the one, yeah.
That's the one. Okay.
It's grown already.
Well, I said that just in case our probationary judge knocked off a few scales.
Oh yes. The judges do that. So tell us a little bit about this koi while I'm filming it.
Well, Kahaku, Sanzai, Matsue, female. But to my mind, I mean, this came in as an Isai. I think it was a really nice fish as an Isai potentially. Colour was significantly softer than what it is now. But this has really blossomed, I think, really from sort of August, September onwards. It's really started to come into its own. Due to problems with the feeder prior to that, sort of intermittently working. The fish didn't really get enough food, but having resolved that issue, the thing has really flown along since then and made up for lost time. But if you look back to pictures of this fish when it was an Isai, you'd have seen some of the kiwa being somewhat incomplete, the colour being a lot softer than what it is now, and I think now the fish is really transformed. Colour's kind of thickened up a lot, kiwa's filled in a lot, sashi's changed quite a bit as well, but I think this is something that really I think has got a fantastic future ahead of it. I think right now I think this fish is arguably, a lot of people would look at it and say, oh, it's too fat, it's carrying too much bulk. But in actual fact, I think whilst this fish is carrying a lot of bulk, it's carrying it extremely well. The body line and belly line is really nice on it. But what I really like about this is the height profile of the fish. I think is particularly strong, really good. So I think no matter how quickly you were to grow this or how much weight you put on it, there's no way that the height of the fish is going to collapse and run flat, as it were.
Right. That's because of that backbone.
The backbone on this running up over the shoulder is just so nice. It's pretty much bulletproof in that regard. And
this is one that's still for sale.
Yeah, still for sale.
Amazing.
But that's the nice thing about it, I think, to me. I think when something doesn't sell, if it's sold and stayed here, that's all well and good. From a business point, it's good. But it somewhat puts me under pressure. But something like this, when it's not sold and it does really well, that to me is exciting because there isn't any stress or worry about it. If something gets damaged or dies in my care that's not sold, it's easy.
Yeah.
But if it belongs to somebody, then it's going to create disappointment, as it were.
So, Mike, for people who are not new, also new into the hobby, but could you explain a little bit about the kiwa in this fish? Because I can recognise the two different types of kiwa on there, but maybe it will be a good fish to sort of point out what you should look for in kiwa, sashi.
I mean, it's all pretty much Marizomi, but some of it looks like it's straight cut, but it's not really straight cut.
No, it's not in this one.
It's because of the way it's following kind of diagonally across the scales. It's the way it really kind of has to sort of skip scales, if you like, in order to cut across it. So I mean, it is pretty much Marizomi all the way through.
Yeah.
But some of that kiwa was incomplete as an Isai.
I think I remember it. I think I did remember it.
Yeah, I think now it's a lot nicer, the kiwa, and I think it will continue to improve more.
And when you measured it, what size was it?
65 now.
65?
Yeah.
65 at Sanzai. Yeah. So that's a very, very good size for its age and everything. So you are saying that this is probably one of the best ones in this?
I think so, really, yeah, potentially. I think it's one of the best.
Yeah.
One of the nicest prospects.
And for future showing wise, it'll be something that somebody could invest in and get a lot of fun out of it and see.
Well, I think so. I think the style of the pattern's really nice. I mean, it's 3-step. The style of each step of pattern is nice. It's in keeping with each other, if you like. you know, you've got the shoulder area kind of drops a little bit over one side, the next step drops over the other side, and then the third step is dropping more the opposite side again, and I think that style is really, really nice. It's not too symmetrical, as we were talking about earlier, it's not too architectural, if you like. It's has got a little bit of interest, and the point being, when you see like a textbook fish, it is just a textbook fish, and you'll not really recognise one in years to come from another, whereas something, let's say like this, or something that's a little bit unique in its own way, is always going to be memorable. So if you see a fish at a koi show, maybe it wins adult champion, you see the fish then, the following year it wins mature, let's say, and the following year gets grand, you'll remember that fish every time you see it. But when you get something that's textbook, it could turn up one year, take a major prize, turn up the next year, and people actually don't really realise which fish it is, because there's so many others like it.
Well, a fish like this, to me, once it reaches 75, 80 cm, it begins to even develop more, and you see more of the body line, the way the pattern flows throughout the fish. So, to me, it's one of those special fish. What do you guys think? What do you think, Ian? We haven't had you chat about it.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, so, is this a type of fish that you would typically look at yourself when you're purchasing fish, or are you sort of textbook pattern guy, or are you quirky pattern guy? I'm a quirky pattern guy, as you could probably
sometimes both.
Sometimes both.
You know, I appreciate you know, what you're saying about this fish, and I think it's an particularly interesting fish. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And I do like it personally. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Stephen?
I'm surprised it's still here.
Well, that's what I was going to. You know, the thing is, because all of you three just came back from Japan within time of each other, within a couple of weeks of each other. To see something like this in Japan that's available would be hard, wouldn't it?
Oh,
and especially within the price. I mean, I haven't asked Mike the price. If you want to know, they could PM him, but they're very difficult to get hold of, and then also if you can, the price sometimes is prohibitive for guys like us. Well, not the Welsh guy. He could buy whatever he wants to. But you know, they are expensive fish.
Yeah, for us poor Geordies here. We've got to select well, you know. But no, to be honest, it's like what Mike just said there. Really, it's got lots of potential, and if you're looking for a fish to sort of buy and grow, what we've just been talking about, and look at the quality of the fish, you can see that it's got the potential there to sort of develop and do really well for you. So it would be a good buy. I'm just surprised it's still here, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. There we go. Rambo-san. This thing is huge. It's a good thing you eat your beans this morning, huh? If you're wondering, he's single and available. Is that right, Stephen?
Yeah. We don't raffle it.
We don't mind if you lived in Okawa area, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. We know some people in Okawa that's free and single as well. There we go.
Good job. Good job.
Well done. Probation will soon be over. This is a beast. The beast from the northwest. Sort of. So tell us about this Matsue, Mike.
I don't know.
What?
Came in as knee size, it's now yon size.
That's huge.
Yeah, the fish is growing really well.
So it's same offspring as the last one? Same shipment, I should say?
Same shipment, yeah.
Same spawning?
Not sure on the spawning on this one. This is different parent, I think, to most of the other ones from that season.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure about this fish in terms of sort of colour, kiwasashi.
Okay.
I think the fish is nice, I think it's quite exciting, but I don't know how long the fish is going to last. I think it's one of those, it's going to get really big, and I think it's going to get better, but how long it will keep its quality and condition, I don't really know.
Okay.
About 74.
So Sansai, Yonsai.
Yonsai, yeah.
74. So it is a big fish. It's doing well in growth-wise.
Yeah.
Skin
I think the colour's attractive, but I think the colour would prove itself hard to keep. I think it's quite water dependent, I think, to keep this condition.
Right. So, you know, this
yeah,
gap
this
here,
got colour damage there.
Yeah.
Damage to scale.
Also the gap there, was it when it was Nisai, was it totally separate and it slowly joined?
I think that was.
Yeah, I think it was one.
Yeah.
That it came together as it got older. I think we've filmed this fish in the past.
Maybe so.
Yeah, because I think this is the one we used on the analogy of if it's falling apart, it's falling apart. In a sense.
I think the Kimura on this is beautiful.
Yes.
But I think Sashi style is a little kind of inconsistent. It's okay on the whole, but But I think the colour is arguably a little bit, although the colour, its hue looks nice, I think the colour is arguably just a little bit thin and a little bit hard maybe to last long term. So it'd be hard to see, well, interesting to see how it works out.
So you reckon to keep this at any level, it will need to be in the water that it's in?
It needs to be in really, really good water and raised really carefully, I think. This could be going for sale really cheap, who knows? Not yet, but maybe in a year's time it might be not looking so good, who knows?
I don't know, so was it an expensive Nisai?
This was 3,600, so it was reasonably expensive.
But obviously, as you've grown the fish and you've seen it develop, that's the risk that you take as a dealer.
Oh, that's right.
You know, sometimes, I guess at our hobbyist level, we think we're the only ones that it can go wrong, but for dealers, it does have times when fish...
Well, I think the only reason this has never sold is because I personally wasn't too confident in the fish.
Right.
More curious rather than confident.
Okay.
And I think that shows when other people are looking at the fish and ask me about it, and that then renders the fish unsold.
Right. But that's the thing about being honest in the trade that you do, or in any trade really, whether you sell cars or you do gardens or whatever you do. It's eventually, if you don't play by the rules, they'll come back and bite you, you know.
Well, that's the trouble. So if you just sell it for the chance of selling it, the first opportunity, you might sell it to somebody. It might be the first fish and also the last fish you'll ever buy. So you know, you've got to look at it in that perspective.
As we already alluded to, the way of social media. Things come very quickly. When
things do well, people don't generally shout too much about it. But when things go wrong, then
the whole world
hears.
Yeah. But I like the fish. It's the sort of thing. See, I'm Steve and I were talking about this yesterday. But I'm more of a risk taker sort of a person. I like taking risks on fish in life and everything I do. So
you should buy it.
For me, taking a risk on a fish. But I'll take a risk on a fish with the dealer's recommendation. Also, if the breeder is in front of me, like remember Stephen, we were talking about a certain fish at Takigawa, and the breeder was like, no, it will be fine. To me, if the breeder says that, I would take the gamble. I know some people are hesitant, but the breeder ultimately, to me, knows best.
That's to a point that works, but I think also the Japanese way is everything's going to be fine. It'll always be fine.
Right. Okay.
And I think you've got to kind of take it in context. If somebody says, if a breeder tells you that 1,000,000 yen fish is going to be fine, the chances are it will be fine.
Right.
When they tell you that 100,000 yen fish is going to be fine, actually they're going to teach you a lesson.
Right, okay. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a bit in context. It's like in relation to the price, it's fine.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work out and you go back there as a Japanese hobbyist and you're asking questions as to, why did this happen? They'll put another fish in the bowl and say, well, this one's 5 times the price, but with this one, that won't happen.
Right, yeah. So it's a lesson.
Yeah, they're kind of selling you lessons in life, if you like, as far as koi is concerned.
Which is why I like going to Japan. I know it's not for everybody, and not everybody needs to go, as you've said or others have said. But to me, you learn a lot in Japan that is hard to learn from anywhere else. When you think so, Ian?
Yeah, what Mike was just saying, it just highlights the cultural differences, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because you can't do that in Britain.
Right.
You know, it's a different mindset, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly, and for that reason, I've had breeders say to me, like Ian said, that different mindset. I've had people say, you shouldn't help people so much. You should let them buy whatever they want to buy.
Right.
To which my point of view is like to breeders, but you don't understand. You know, in Japan, people will come back and say, thanks for putting them straight or teaching them about things that aren't working out. I said, in England, you'll find that your windows are broken a year later. So different mindset altogether.
Yes, yeah.
But sorry, Ian's light was on. He was talking.
But koi is about learning, isn't that right, guys? I mean, how long have you been keeping koi, Ian?
I don't know. Stop counting now.
You stopped counting.
Yeah.
How long?
After making grey.
Speaking about grey,
10 years maybe.
10 years?
But seriously, 5 years, 6 years.
Okay. You, Anthony? Stephen? Yeah. Anthony was just a young lad, I remember, from back in the days.
I was a baby.
About 15 years.
15 years. So you guys have seen a real turn in fish, culture, everything. When I talk about culture, British culture, the approach of koi and buying koi, the hobbyists' way, you've been there and seen it. You've been all over Japan as well, right? Like Niigata and all those sort of areas in there.
Well, it's just a big learning curve, really. I think any hobby, really, you know.
Yeah.
You're always learning, and you've got to learn by your mistakes as well at times.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Unfortunately, in this hobby, you got to learn by, learning to be costly in that way. I think that's with a lot of people, Mike. They don't want to learn by money. They want to learn by just you telling them. And often the best way to learn is let the fish teach you.
That is true. I think this is the other problem. I mean, it's all very well working and guiding people properly, but in actual fact the Japanese way does make an awful lot of sense, because if people never make a mistake and everything turns to gold,
yes,
they'll never appreciate something that won't.
No.
They'll never understand the risk. They'll essentially buy something that's no good, thinking that that will also turn to gold.
Yeah.
So you do need to make a certain number of mistakes, whether it's keeping skills or buying the wrong kind of fish. You need to cut your teeth on something.
Could you explain a little bit about the water in here, Mike? What's the sort of pH you're running at?
pH is 7.0.
7.0?
TDS, I don't know. I've not checked it since early part of October.
But are you into heavy feeding now, are you? Or are you slowing up the feeding?
Ordinarily, no, but because of the issues that I had with the feeder, at the moment they're still growing and still on full feeding, as it were. But in a few weeks' time now, I will take the temperature down and give them a winter. But at the moment, like I say, I'm kind of making up for lost time really with it.
What sort of KH you're running?
KH is below 1. I would say probably about somewhere between 10 and 14 milligrams a litre. So yeah, less than 1 degree of KH. TDS I expect is probably around about 90, something like that. It's lower on this pond than it typically has been before.
And you're running RO?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a lot of guys who've now into the hobby. There's a lot of new people into the hobby, and they've been asking about RO and what have you. And I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, that you sort of pioneered the thought of RO in the koi world. I know they do it in discus, as I keep discussing.
I mean, RO is not new technology. It's been around forever, and it's been around a lot for desalination of water. In places like, I believe, Dubai and places like that. And also ships as well. You know, cruise ships will use water from the sea and then strip it out, desalinate it, and use that for drinking water. But so, I mean, it's not, like I say, it's not new technology, but and it's been used in aquaculture in the past, like in terms of discus and such like. But I think, for koi, I think it is somewhat revolutionary, if you like. But I think it's stood the test of time and proved.
And for someone putting KH, having probably running low KH in a pond, they shouldn't have to worry about a bacterial load or anything like that. As I have tested in my aquarium, running really low pH, hardly nothing in KH, and the tank cycles, and I use Backy house media in my discus tanks.
Bacteria and sort of filtration activity, biological activity. At the end of the day, whilst people think, at a low pH it's not going to work properly, that kind of thing, in reality it does. I mean, as you'll know from discus, when you start running acidic pHs, you don't just start running high ammonia and nitrite levels because your filter's dying off. The bacteria will adapt and live whatever they've got to live with.
And I'm feeding like beef heart, which is high in protein. It messes the water up, and it's all fine. So anyway, back to koi. So we've got a koi in here. The boys are already looking at it. So tell us about this one, Mike.
Matsue again. This one is Yonsai, came in as an Isai. Didn't do very well last year, but this year has done really well. It's kind of made up for lost time.
So let me just interrupt you there. Is it right in thinking that it's possible to have fish that one year they don't grow much, they don't do much, but then the following year they take off? That's quite possible.
Well, last year there was really too many fish in here. This year the numbers have been a lot more favourable.
Right.
So
Okay.
the pond, I think, has performed a lot better now this year.
Maybe just put your hands on it. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about this Matsue.
Well, as I say, Yonsai came in as an Isai, but body type's nice. Colour and key was good. Colour right now is a little bit on the soft side, but the fish is good. Key was nice.
Yeah, that colour don't bother me.
No. This I'd expect to colour up later on. I think this is about 68 cm, something like that.
Is this a different parent to the one we just had in the boat?
I can't honestly remember with this one.
No, I'm filming the fish,
Yeah,
not your
68.
head.
I know what you're saying.
How much? I am filming the fish, man.
We can show you the top of Ian's head if you want. He's got.
Yeah, actually, we didn't notice it. Yeah, he's too tall, Ian.
This got knocked off a scale about a week ago, but
Yeah, okay.
that's not a problem.
So that wasn't the judge and probation that did that?
No, unfortunately, a few days ago, it knocked the scale and you could see the fucrin had torn. There was a gap where it had torn away. And then a couple of days after, the scale had basically fallen off, as it were.
Yeah. But that already looks like it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's a new scale there. It's already got colour, so it's not a problem. It'll just thicken up. Yeah, no problem at all.
And is this for sale or?
Yeah.
It's for sale. Still for sale.
Still for sale.
Wow.
For the viewer's benefit, you have no idea how hard this is when you get your Rasta man come down to Bristol, filming away, and I'm looking at the camera and I'm looking at the Rasta, and you might wonder why I'm kind of a little bit distracted, but just hold on, 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Come here. Right, hold that thought. Right, you want me to concentrate on the camera? How is it possible? Come on.
You know what? It actually does suit you.
What kind of look is this called Runnings look?
Listen, when you have a head like a cricket ball, like mine, you need something to keep your head warm. It's freezing down here.
I feel your pain now, it must be cold.
But it does suit your style.
Do you colour that?
Reggae style.
You've got a silver beard, but the bit on top's not silver.
I did that to match into Stephen's hair. That's what I did.
Have a look and see what this is actually like a minute. Bear with me.
There you go. Look. You see what we have to put up with? He is a clown, isn't he?
No, I do this well.
There you go. Look, look, look. I do this well.
Yeah.
You look like one of the Beastly Boys.
Well, let's get some of them fish tings from next one.
In the bowl.
In the bowl.
In the bowl. Let me go.
Come on, Mon. Let's go.
There you go. So,
Let's go.
cool runnings.
Power regeneration or something like that. Isn't it something like heat pump, something or other?
Yeah, that's right.
CHP.
Yeah.
It's on like generator heat pump kind of thing.
This is the first thing that stood out. Nothing against the Kahako, you know, but it's so fantastic looking.
Oh no, this pattern's gone.
it's so fantastic looking, and these are Sansai. Sansai, and they're for sale. And the price blew me away. What's the price?
Oh, £900.
900 quid. I mean, honestly, Anthony, I'm just blown away. 900 quid for this. You know, what sort of size are they, Mike?
Blown away.
Blown away.
The
official size.
They're cheap because they cost too much to keep.
They eat too much food.
66.
66 cm. Sansai. 900 quid. Listen, if you need something, you do need something like this in your pond, trust me. This is a place. How many have you got left of these?
This particular lot, there's 2 left.
2 left, so, and the 900...
But then there's everything else. There's Yonsai, Gosai, Nisai.
Yes.
Every age you can imagine of Mukashi swimming around here.
And they absolutely go. Honestly, they are stunning to look at. They're looking really, really nice. And so I asked Mike to put this in the bowl.
If you like the fish with no pattern, this is it.
If you want an imposing big fish, well, that will get massive. They will get massive.
They get huge.
They'll get huge.
And you get your money back. I mean, if you eat it, it'll get so big. Just meat value alone is worth a fortune.
But it is stunning. I just loved it. I just think it just, and as for the price, it just, that's a Christmas bargain. 900 quid, unbelievable. It's gorgeous. Nice head on that. What do you think, probation judge?
Oh, it's lovely, yeah. I mean, lovely shape and everything, lovely scalation. And what stands out to me is the lustre.
The lustre on it.
Yeah, lovely lustre and shine, which is important in a variety like this, especially for showing.
Wow. Doesn't he sound like he knows what he's saying? Lustre.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do under pressure.
Stephen, it must be a proud dad.
Straight on the textbook.
Oh, this is crazy. So if you're looking for Makashi, this guy, there's a reason why you should never drink rum before filming.
Pet fish tin.
Your pet fish tin.
If I can catch it.
That's a really awkward body shape there. Have you noticed the body shape on that?
Yeah.
Have you noticed the body shape or not, Ian?
Yeah,
The body shape. What do you think of that body shape?
very well.
Stephen, what do you think of that body shape?
Bit heavy.
So, all right, Mike. This is your pet.
My pet. My pet.
If I remember, this is not the Maxwell one, is it?
Bristolian, remember it.
Remember, is it?
Sorry?
Is this Maxwell?
No.
Takigawa.
Yeah.
Ah, I think I remember this one. I think I do. You have to refresh our memory. Tell us a bit about it, Mike.
It's from... Well, this is from my own parents.
Oh, yes.
Yume. Dream Princess.
Dream
Sounds good,
Princess.
Which unfortunately got eaten from the mud pond a year ago. But hey ho. But this is just one I've kept as a pet, one that I think is really nice, quality's nice. Body isn't so good.
Why would you say the body's not so good?
Because the overall height profile of the fish isn't really as strong as I would like it. But
can you show us that what you mean, Mike, on the bowl? On the height profile?
it's just not, if you look at the Sounds Eye, the 3-step from the last pond, it's got more height overall to the fish, and more progression in height rising up over the fish. So this one, I think, it does to a certain degree run that risk if you raise it, feed it too heavily and raise it too strongly. You could end up flattening down the back profile of the fish and then getting too much belly on the fish instead.
Okay.
So I think if this is raised sort of reasonably slowly, I think it'd be really good. But if it was fed really heavily, it could end up damaging the fish, if you like, in terms of body. Quality's really nice, so.
Well, I was just going to say that to me the quality of the fish looks really nice.
Yeah.
Pecks are nice, the head's nice, the body line's nice.
Colour and Kimura's nice.
Yeah. So that's the only point that you would have a little bit of criticism on as a body line.
Not so much criticism, but concern. If it was stronger, I'd be more confident in the fish. Like 66, 67.
Okay, and that's your...
This is Yonsai, yeah. This has done very well this year, though.
Yeah. You would never sell this then?
Possibly.
Possibly. Okay.
But to me, it's just one that... It's just one I'm interested in kind of keeping and see what happens with it. But I mean, if it was to be sold, it wouldn't be horrifically expensive. But it's just not one that I would confidently sell.
No.
I think it's interesting, the quality is nice, it could end up being really good as a big fish. But I think, like I say, it needs a little bit of care.
So would you, when we talk about the body, would you still see it going 85?
Yeah, I think it's going to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Certainly 80s easy, 85 I think it will do.
And at 85, this fish will totally transform.
Yeah.
Totally transform.
Yeah, definitely.
The pattern will pull out, all that undulation as you call it.
I think the quality will last well as well with this.
Too closed off.
You're on Facebook. You would see have seen some of these fish that have been posted in there. And, some of Stephen and Anthony's fish are in here as well. Some fish that I would like that in here. But I was busy. I was like, we do like our boat as well. It's really shiny. It's like that Rihanna song, shine bright like the diamond.
Right then.
Yeah, I almost bought that while you were in Japan. You wasn't so excited by it, was So this is a Danjo Takigawa. What size, Mike?
Knee-size size.
Knee-size size. So 52, 53 cm.
Right.
Which one? Not filming ahead.
52, 53.
Ah, I was right, see? A fisherman never exaggerate or lie.
Perfectly natural fish.
So at the time of film it is for sale.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it may not be for long.
Might be going to Leicester.
And this is for sale.
Yeah.
Missy eye.
Yeah, miss you that.
You remember this fish, Ann?
Oh yeah.
So who's the breeder?
Petty goer.
Okay. So this is day 3 at the Big Brother house. But Mike, the thing is they're goldfish. They're not koi.
I'm diversifying.
Diversify.
Keeping the options open. In this current economic climate, it should all be open.
They're any kind of fish. So if you're looking for, is it called ranchu?
Yeah.
Ranchu goldfish. Mike is a supplier with a trinicolor. There you go. So this is a
Looks amazing with your glasses and your magic hat on.
a maritime thing. Come on, probation judge. There you go.
I got this for Christmas.
You obviously like
you
it.
want this to go here.
Yeah, you obviously like it. So this is a, tell us, Mike.
I can't even look at it. It's hurting the eyes with these glasses on.
Tell us.
Ducky hour. I have to. Knee high female. And it's nice.
It's a bigger side than the other.
I think it's a big fish.
Yeah.
The pattern is very simple, but I think the quality's nice. Technically it's good.
Well, I mean the keyword on it is quite sharp.
Yeah.
Very sharp keyword.
It's even sharper with your glasses on.
Yeah. There's not a dull moment when Mike's around.
There's no dull moments with these glasses on, that's for sure. I've never seen anything like it. It's psychedelic.
Is that special tea you've been drinking?
What are they? Oakley!
They're my Oakley fly fishing glasses, man. They probably cost more than like a hafu in the bowl.
I bet this hat will.
So this is for sale. Is this the bag and bucket sale?
Yeah.
Yeah, bag
That
and
is
bucket.
actually. That's like a reasonably priced car, as it were,
Right.
as they say.
A reasonably priced car.
This is the Suzuki Liana of fish.
Suzuki Liana. So if you know what that is, this is whatever that one of them costs. Just watch that fish don't end up on the gravel, because then it'll be a really cheap fish. To get you there.
Yeah.
He's even brought out a special shirt.
It's a strange this hat. I fancy some jerk chicken or something like that nowadays. This is the same parent as the one you've got, Miyama.
All right, yes. Oh, it's a nice backbone on it.
This will look massively different.
Yeah.
When this gets body on it, the fish will look completely different.
That is very nice.
Yeah. A couple of years' time, this will be this kind of thing. You wouldn't even recognise it.
Yeah.
Unless you were showing the pictures. Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah. And is this reasonably priced as well?
Reasonably priced, incredibly reasonably priced.
Really?
I need to buy a pair of these glasses, and everyone that comes here to look at the fish, I need to put these on them, because it doesn't matter what you're looking at, they just look amazing.
They look amazing.
I sell everything with these glasses.
That is my perspective on life.
Even if I said to something, I'm being honest with you, this fish is a load of rubbish, people have these glasses on and they think, yeah, but it just looks amazing, I've got to have it.
So rude.
I never knew what rose tinted glasses meant until now.
This is nice.
This is nice and tidy.
This is Takinawa again?
Yeah, good guess. I mean, you can't go far wrong when you've got about 5 shots.
So tell us about it, man.
Lisa, over to Ian.
Lisa, Ian, tell us about this toy.
Yeah,
You got 1 minute before the battery dies.
Hold on a minute. Put the glasses on him. It'll look so much better. Then he'll be able to talk it up.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Matsui, Nisai.
So is this your fish like that?
It's the one that's got away here.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but it is our fish, yeah.
Oh, well, lovely.
Yeah. Took a while to settle on
So
that
did
one.
you choose it or did Carmen choose it? Or was it collective choice?
Yeah, it's always a collective choice.
Always a collective choice.
But I think I kind of
You fell in
owned
love
it
with
really. But then she warmed up to it, so to speak,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I like it. Very nice.
Yeah. Got to imagine it's a big fish, haven't you? That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about this koi, Mike.
It's good. Nice pattern, really nice colour, nice fever, nice body. I think it's a really interesting one. This, I think the pattern's really nice.
Yes.
I think everything's good. Body's really nice, sashay's lovely, fever's really nice, colour's good. But I think this kind of pattern I think is really attractive, and I think whether it's small or whether it's big, the pattern's going to be nice.
It's quite big for an size.
Yeah, it's not bad size.
Yeah, it's quite big.
It's like fish farms, the quality I think is beautiful. Like I say, sachet style I think is superb. To me I think it's got a really nice future.
Sakai fish farm as well, right?
Yeah.
It seems to me, Mike, that you've got a... I mean, I've been coming here a few years now, and it seems to me that you've got some really nice koi in this time. Not that you don't get really nice koi in, but I know how hard you work to find the koi that you like for the right money and etc. etc. And this year, a lot of the stuff you've been posting looks really good.
I think this is the best year ever.
You think the best year yet?
Yeah, I do think so. For special fish, for nice fish, I think this is the best year ever.
Right.
And I think, I mean, last year I thought was the best year ever. This year I think supersedes it. Not by a massive margin, but it does supersede it. And I think particularly this time, the Sankey department, I think, which I always struggle with, I think I've completely sort of outdone myself with this year. But no, overall I think this has been a fantastic trip this time. The only kind of downside really is that I have left a number of fish out, but only because of the fact that once they're in the UK they're essentially selling to such a limited audience. So I think it's lovely. The cheetah line.
Oh, so it's Sakai fish farm?
Yeah, well, Sakai Company.
Sakai Company.
The cheetah line. But I think really, really nice. Nice body, nice colour, lovely fever. The sashay's very tight, but it's nice. But a lot of that lineage of stuff has almost no sashay.
Right,
Which to me worries me, but I think this does have some sashay, which gives me personally some reassurance that there is some elasticity to the belly, and there is some future to it.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, I think when there's no sashay, it's quite worrying, and you tend to find then that when you bend the fish, the scales start to pull apart, and reveal white, that kind of thing. But this one I think the colour's really nice, despite the fact that sashay is a little bit on the tight side, but the colour's lovely.
He was nice and sharp.
Body line's really good, head's really nice, fins are really nice, which I think is all important as well. This I think is lovely.
Beautiful. Wow. Who's the breed on this?
This is Sakai. Yep.
This is Sansai?
Sakai. Yeah.
Tell us some more.
Oh, good fish. Ask the judge.
Judge, come over, Judge. Let's talk about this fish.
Well, first
Let's take up with it.
the first boat's got superb brain. Lovely head, long head.
Right.
Skin quality is awesome. Lovely benny, deep benny, and the sumi quality is really nice.
Yeah.
And consistent.
What about the sumi quality, Sankey?
Oh yeah, really. Like the sumi that's like development there is really nice. You can see it on the white there, how deep it is.
Right.
Yeah, really nice.
What do you call that? You know when the Sankey has the black on the pecs?
Tejame.
What do you call it?
Tejame.
Tejame.
Yeah.
I know that. I just checked, double checking. But I had it right.
Tejame. Still on probation or not?
So tell us some more, Mike. Why did you pick this fish? And Obviously, it's made the Yume grade.
I just thought it was a fish that would be really easy for people to love.
Yes.
I think it's good.
The body's...
I think it'll get a decent size.
Yeah.
But yeah, body's nice, Yume's really nice. Yume placement's quite nice as well. But yeah.
This is a show that you fish, sorry, that would do well on the show. It's got a standard in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. The year of the Sankey. So this is, tell us the breeder on this one, Mike. Sapphire.
Nisai.
ECI.
Yeah, Nisai.
ECI and I. We're waiting for Ian patiently. Look, he's got the shoulder.
Handle with care.
Handle with care.
And love.
Fragile.
And love.
There we go. So, for sale, mate?
Yeah, I think this is nice. Sumi placement. There's quite a lot to go on with this. A lot of Sumi to come up, but I think Sumi's all nicely placed. Colour, sashiki was good. Body's nice.
Skin quality.
And it's good prospect.
Yeah. And for sale. It's a hot for sale, I'm guessing. Yonsai, right?
Sandbar.
Sanzai. Big.
It is big. I think it's about 68.
68, wow.
Yeah.
And breeder?
That's right.
That's Rambo-san. Oh, pretty thing.
Yeah, good fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
And for sale.
So,
Is it different parent lines or what we saw earlier in your main pond?
I can't remember the parent of this particular one. I bought it as Nisai, I left it out.
Oh, okay.
But I can't remember the parent.
So it's been in the mud then.
Yeah.
As we were saying,
Yeah.
is this a is this a particularly expensive fish?
No. Not as expensive.
No, for its size, because it is a big fish for
It's a good
sunrise.
fish. I think it's a good fish. It will get big really easy. And it is a reasonably decent fish, but it's not an expensive fish.
No. Okay.
I can't remember what this one works out at, but I know it's pretty expensive.
For a moment. Right. So if you're talking to,
Have your magic hat back.
there you go. There you go.
There we are.
So if
Just the shirt left.
if people are coming to Yume Koi for the first time, as it were, what should they expect? I mean, do you have to drive a flush BMW? Do you have to be earning mega bucks, or like me, you could walk in, not much in your pocket? You don't want to waste people's time, but at the same point, what should they expect the first time?
It always amazes me. I was chatting to a group of guys, there was 5 guys here yesterday, and I was chatting to them and saying about the fact that I've always had a scenario in the past where people feel like they need to ask someone they know that comes here. And this seems to be a really regular occurrence where somebody that wants to come will ask somebody that they know shops here, oh, next time you go down to Mike's, is there any chance I can come with you?
Yeah.
Because they feel like, I don't know why it is, I really don't know why it is, but I think some people feel like maybe they'll be under pressure if they come here alone, or maybe they can't afford anything or whatever. I don't know what it is. And they feel like if they come here with somebody that's taken seriously, that they'll get away with coming down here, having a look and going home empty-handed without any pressure kind of thing, and therefore, you know, it's better to come with somebody else. I don't know why that is, and I don't know why some people get that impression, but...
I mean, I've seen fish here today. One is that...
Put the camera out anyway.
I'm trying to get you, not your controllers in the corner there.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen fish here today that was very, very good money for the price. I mean, we bowled one, I mean, Ogon, for example.
To me, good money means a lot.
Well, no, for the money.
You mean good fish for the price?
Good fish for the money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I just bought a fish. I hadn't bought any fish. I just bought a fish now, a Takigawa.
Have you?
Yes. and and
You've got witnesses.
and they weren't particularly expensive fish.
Yeah.
You know, what people would think, oh, you need to have this and that and what have you. You don't. And I've done well, you know, at shows with fish that were not your high-end expensive thing. So I'm trying to tell the guys who are new to the hobby, you don't have to have mega bucks to come to Yume. You come and you'll learn, you'll go with great fish for the money that you got.
Well, I think so, and I think it's certainly, I think, the case that if somebody comes here, I think things need transparency in both directions.
Yes.
You know, so if somebody comes here, the easier they make life for me to understand what they're looking for, the easier it is for me to present them with stuff that is going to fulfill the right kind of criteria, you know. So, but the trouble is, I think some people are kind of quite guarded, or maybe think, oh well, you know, this guy, he'll sell me anything. If he knows I've got money and I'm prepared to buy something, he'll sell me anything. But at the end of the day, if someone says, right, okay, this is the cards on the table, this is what I've got, this is what I want to achieve today, that kind of thing, then it's really easy to say, okay, I think this is good for what you want. And to be fair, a large part that also comes down to the pond as well. And I don't mean from a perspective of trying to sell somebody something for the pond, but trying to find something that I think is suitable for the pond that the person's got, or the way that they're raising fish, or the kind of location they're in, what the water's likely to be like, and so on. And I think that's important in both ways, because if I think somebody's water is leaning itself towards a certain breeder's fish, maybe because the fish are more robust or whatever, then I think it's important to fulfill the needs of what the person's actually looking for, rather than sell them something that isn't fulfilling those needs, works out badly, and then you never see the person again.
Sure.
I think that's quite easy to fall into that trap, I think, as a dealer.
Maybe, you know, Mike and I have been talking. I mean, Ian, you've been in the hobby a while. I'll ask these boys as well. There's a lot of new guys in the hobby. They want to visit Yume.
Yeah.
What would be your advice?
Come down.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah.
Ring up, make an appointment, come down.
Book an appointment.
I think my advice, Chip, is that don't have misconceptions about it, you know, because a lot of people think, because Mike's done well in the koi show thing, you know, he's only focused on the grand champions.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest misconception of it all, isn't it? And this fish here that's, other people can follow, they're affordable fish as well, you know, as the fish that are, the champions, the future champions, if you like. And there's fish that can be developed and grown and you can achieve good things with, really good things with. That's my thoughts on it. Yeah.
I think what people will say on the video as well, they'll say that there's some, there's some really good quality fish for all pockets. As I said, they're not mega expensive, but some really nice quality fish to learn from as well.
I mean, you boys fresh out of Japan, all three of you, and I've said this on camera, whether Mike was there or not, but I think I know what I will pay for a decent fish in Japan, and I know when they come here what I could pay. I will gladly, like I did today, buy a fish here, knowing that, okay, yeah, Mike still has to butter his bread, but it's not crazy prices anyway. It's still affordable prices. You're not going to get, in a sense, sometimes you get a better deal here than you can in Japan.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's my feeling. You know. How did you guys in Japan? Obviously, you have your hunt up and down. They might look after you that way, but it is hard work finding the right fish. It's not every facility has loads of great fish, is it?
Oh, you've got to go with an open mind, and you just don't know what you're going to see, And as we've seen some years, some of the farms are in abundance, and some the next year they haven't. That's much the way it is here. But
it's like farming. Some years are good years, aren't they?
Yeah.
Some years are, not so good. So, like Steve just said, we went the first time we went with a thinking we were going to do this and this and this, and then when you go out there, it all changes, and you've got to be open-minded and think on your feet, sort of thing. And at the end of the day, you're looking for a good fish, aren't you? So if it ends up coming from a different fish farm, well, sometimes that happens. But you will come back with a good fish.
Good. Cool, Mike. What now?
And it's only just occurred to me, really, giving this some thought. How long have you been having your own branded clothing?
You can see it clearer now, right?
Wow, yeah, it's great.
It is great, but check this
don't
out.
drop my hat in the water.
Check this out. What's it like with a magic hat on?
You know what, Ian looks like one of the Bill and Ben, the flower pot.